On this episode of Real Estate on the Rock, we're going to talk a little bit about teams and brokerages.
Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
Hey, welcome back to Real Estate on the Rocks. I'm joined in the studio today with Marshall Tucker.
That's me. What's going on?
Yeah, and James the Butcher Mendez.
What's going on?
Earning that butcher name.
Chop, 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 chop.
Earning it. Living it. I'm going to get him a shirt that says Butcher on it. I butcher episodes. Anyway, we're back in the studio today, and it seems to be, I've had a couple days, and I've been kind of like floating around on Facebook a lot, you know, between our group, Hyperlocal Agents, and a couple of the other big real estate groups out there that have like 10,000 or 40,000 people in them. And the general questions that get asked right now in this type of season, it seems to be all relate around maybe agents that aren't necessarily, you know, having the best success or having the best luck out there as a solo agent. So they're asking the question, or they're just recently licensed, and they're asking the question, should I join a team, right?
Yep.
And that's just the general question. And then there's the additives to that. So the added verbiage that goes to that is this split, is this 50-50 split fair?
Yeah.
You know, is this 80-20 split fair?
What's fair?
What is, yeah, I mean, let's put it in context here. So that's what we're going to spend this episode doing, is really talking about the benefits of being on a team or choosing the right brokerage. We are with EXP. This is not an EXP pitch. However, if you do want to talk to us about EXP and maybe weigh the options between where you're currently at or where you might be joining and talk to us about EXP, we would love to have the conversation with you. And all you do right there is text join EXP to 88000, and we'll just have a great, honest conversation with you. This is not a big recruiting thing right here. I just want people to make the right choices. I don't believe I did. I didn't make the right choice. I was worried about the wrong things when I got into real estate. I was worried about...
Most are.
Yeah. And so
You just don't know.
I had no clue what was going to happen.
yeah, just a little bit of education here is we're going to take it to another level real quick and give you some honest points about, you know, why would I join a team? Why wouldn't I join a team? You know, what brokerage would I go with? You know, I like over here because they have a better commission split. You know, when you're new, commission is just out the window. Don't even look at commission because you're not going to make any. Unless you're coming in hot with 3 to 5 deals attached to you, you know, then I might worry a little bit more about commission. However, I'm going to speak to the rule, not the exception, like we typically do. I love when people try to challenge me and say, well, yeah, but so-and-so does it this, and so-and-so does it. We're not talking about so-and-so. Yeah. You know? Well, they say... let me know who they is.
People say a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So let's get into it real quick. Let's talk about the advantages of joining a team versus not joining a team first. Let's hit it. All right. So joining a team, I run a team. All right. I know the advantages of a team.
Yeah.
Do my people on the team always see those advantages? Yeah. Right. So I don't know if they always do. I'm looking around the table right now, and I'm just like, do you see the advantages, guys?
Don't make eye contact.
Yeah.
Don't make eye contact.
And so, you know, I know what those are. If I had the opportunity to join a team when I was the first, you know, when I was a rookie agent, that first year where I made $4,800 or $4,300, whatever it was, I've tried to block it out of my mind. I don't know the rock solid what it is. I can go back to my tax return, of course, and take a look at it. However, you know, I've tried to put things in context. Like if I was to join a team when I first came into the business, where would I be now? I would probably have superseded like where I am now. My first 2 to 3 years would have looked completely different in the business, right? And so, Marshall, we can speak to you real quick. I know the first year in real estate, you struggled.
Yeah.
You know, and so tell me a little bit about that. You didn't know when you just joined Keller Williams because of a
let me
great
think way
pitch,
back.
Right?
So it was like I was working at a restaurant, and a lady who sold me my house a few years prior drove by the window, and she said, "You know what? You would make a great real estate agent." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Whoa, maybe I would." I've seen this. You know, what do you got to do? Just show up, open the door up, and you know that's the easy part. I didn't realize that was the easy part. Yep. The hard part is finding the people to go show the homes to.
Yep.
And so my first year into the business, I did a lot of education. I was trying to learn everything I could. And other than that, I wasn't taking any action. It was all book work, all studying, and I would talk to people. No one trusted me as the professional.
Yeah.
And I just really had no idea what to do. And then I kind of met you one day and, was talking about teams and whatever. And you told me, he's like, would you rather have 100% of nothing or 50% of something? I was like, well, I am making nothing right now. So 50% of something sounds a lot better, right?
Right. And at the time I had
and you
finally
said,
started coming through. Right.
You were like, join my team and I'll take you out to the listing appointment. I'll show you how to walk, what to say and what to do and all that. I was like, really? You're going to do that for me? Because we have a coach down there and she's not even doing that for me.
Right.
And so it was just all the value in basically teaching me what to say, do, and walk.
Right. And I'll pat myself on the back here that I like to think that for those years I had a growth mindset, right? And I knew that I couldn't do this by myself because even at that time, now that's my, third year into the business right there. Mm-hmm. Like I finally had switched over from the broker that didn't do much for me the first 2 years. And I actually went with a brokerage that was the big box brokerage, Keller Williams. And I went with them and they taught me really how to do a lot of these things. And it's not that they just taught me, I had to be willing to learn. Right. So I had to finally drop my ego. I've talked about this stuff in the past. Drop the ego, get into the mindset of that. I have a growth mindset, that I'm not just giving up all my buyers over here. So I'm going to be working with more sellers over here. And if I had more listings, they would turn to leads, which would provide leverage for me by hiring a buyer's agent like Marshall Tucker. That's right. And so that's what I did. And that's what I had that mindset doing. Right. And so finally, I had so much business coming in that I realized also that I had to take you on appointments because we were having so many listing appointments at the time that I couldn't handle them all myself also. And we're working a lot of FSBOs, for sale by owners, withdrawals, and everything else. It's like we had abundant opportunity. And I tried to get more people on the team, but they always got hung up on that commission. Yep. They always got, well, you're going to take half my stuff. I'm like, but that's it. Like that, I take the half, and that's all you got to do is sell.
And you don't have to pay for everything else.
Right. And so most people don't get that. There's another example.
We're going to pull our money together and get every awesome system, under the sun to get more leads.
Right. There was a question on new real estate agents. I'll go back through it after in a minute. I'll go find it. I'll let you guys wrap a little bit. Then I'll go find that conversation. However, everybody in there, this is a website, or I'm sorry, a Facebook page for new real estate agents, right?
Yeah.
And these veterans are saying, stupid things like, don't let them take half your money. And I'm like, stop thinking of it as like taking half your money. Can a team help you get to where you're going faster? Mm-hmm. There's 1 million or 2 million real estate agents out there. Not all of them are with great companies like EXP or Keller Williams or, the big ones like Coldwell Banker and Remax that have these big training programs. A lot of these are small little towns where they have small little, boutique brokerages and things like that. There's not a lot of training out there. But if you have the opportunity to go with a team that can show you the ropes for 1 or 2 years and you're not signing your death warrant, you're not saying that I'm gonna live and die by this team in 2 years, that if you haven't outgrown their business or they're not valuable to you anymore as an agent, break away. But I see tons of agents just get that ego going real quick right after they have some success in sales and they bounce out and then all of a sudden they flourish out. They start picking up shifts over at their parents' restaurant. They start
Low blow.
A gut punch right there.
I got to help every once in a while.
I'm just kidding.
Being a family restaurant, I got to keep a toe in.
It's about, exactly. It's all about the family, though. It's all
pinky toe, just a pinky toe.
But let's weigh some things here of why one should choose a team over going solo, especially the first couple years, or those agents that have given it 1 or 2 years and have nothing going on whatsoever. Right. So they can't make it click. They get a client every once in a while. For some reason or somehow, they're sticking into the business even though they're not making any money. I don't know if they're a hobbyist or whatever else, or maybe one of their spouses helps out with the bills and it's just a part-time job. However, if you're going to be hanging around part-time, the goal is still to do deals. Yeah. Still help people and sell real estate, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're going to go through some of these actionable tips that you need to look for when making this decision. If you're joining a brokerage or if you get a team out there that's recruited you in, what good that can do for your career. I'm pro team, obviously, right? Yeah. So let's get into it real quick. How to pick a team. We're going to talk about brokerages here in a second, but this is how to pick a team, right? So right off the bat, what?
I have no experience. This is the first team I ever joined, and I never left.
But you've obviously let's
I know
have
it's. I know it
that
might
live
be,
and
it's
die
better.
in the team clause. He took that one to heart.
yeah. Let's
He's like,
let's get real right now for the listeners out here that are doing this stuff. Marshall, you've definitely thought about leaving. Yeah, I'm sure you've had conversations, extended conversations with your wife.
You project that. I never do. This is my business.
Right. Okay. Well, that's cool. I do project that, I guess. However, I would think that the experience that I've had coaching some people or having conversations with people around the industry is that their spouse typically seems to be like, even people we've interviewed to come on the team is like, well, my spouse is very worried about you taking half of my commission, and that's when I about lose my shit every time, and just kind of like,
If you're bringing home
call your spouse
$20,000,
right.
and you're going to gripe about half the commission.
Right.
What were you doing
right,
before?
right. And you didn't have to come out of pocket for any marketing expenses.
Right.
You didn't have to pay the rent in the building. No. You didn't have to pay for your contract to closing.
Hell, I don't
or
have to
any
show up.
admin
I can
stuff.
send someone else sometimes to
Right.
go do it for me.
And you have been doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can leverage it off your plate with a showing assistant, right? And so, these are things that we can provide for you that most brokerages can't, right? Brokerages take everybody and just throw them against the wall and see if they stick. Teams these days, and especially the teams around the big box places, like the ones I've mentioned, EXP and some KWs and the Coldwell Bankers and whoever else. There's all these ones out there I've never heard of before that are coming up, like Fathom. And
Couldn't fathom that.
yeah, that's dumb. Lame. Anyway, so they have team models out there, and you just really have to look at it. So I see people all the time like, oh, you join this team, and it's a team leader talking to me. It's like, well, what are your splits? I'm like, well, hold on. What are your splits? You're like, what are you doing over there? She's like, well, I'm 90-10. I'm like, then why would you bother having a team? You know what I mean? And she's like, yeah, but I don't provide any support. They do their own contract to close. They do this, they do this, they do this. It's like, why would anybody join that? I don't understand that. However, let's get back into it real quick. So, office or remote. A lot of EXP is remote. That's a virtual brokerage, right? Cloud-based brokerage, right? So, however, there's EXP offices around, right? So we have an EXP office. We have 2 EXP offices in the Austin area, right? And so those are ones that our team pays for. That's Snowberger Realty Group. Do you have to be a part of Snowberger Realty Group to come in to use those offices?
Nope.
No, right? You just have to be an EXP agent. Hopefully, we're the ones that brought you into EXP and showed you the benefits of being with EXP, right? And so, secondly, is the other ones that do have an office. Let me see, I'm losing it here. So, how to pick up team. So, the training and education. What do you get from your team, right? If they just throw you against a wall to see if you stick, are you getting anything from them? Do they have a 90-day action plan?
Did you know even where to start? I mean,
Yeah.
at least when he joined one of those other brokers, they had a small training program. But after the training program was over, it was kind of like you're just there.
Yeah.
And everything else is on you to choose the way, choose the path, and
Right.
all that stuff. So when you're on a team, it's a little bit more structured. We meet every Monday. We have masterminds. We kind of determine the direction that we want to go. And as a group, collectively, we go out and find the training that we need, and we fill the gaps.
You have somebody to actually talk to instead of just roaming the halls of, oh man, or someone who will actually answer the phone when you have a question when you're doing a deal. I can't tell you how many times people would talk all the time until you need help with something.
Yeah.
Cricket. We said this a couple times on the podcast. Crickets. Nobody answered. Well, a couple people did, but I mean, to be able to, look across the hall and ask somebody like, hey, what do you do for this? Or what's the best way to do that is invaluable, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, this business right now is really pumping off the whole sharing culture, right? So everybody's kind of willing to share, out there, but not everybody, No. And I'd say the old brokerage I was with, they talked about it, but they didn't. There's not a lot of them that would be about it, right?
Yeah.
Since the switch over here to the cloud-based brokerage, I mean, I get more help from people that I've never met in my life that are willing to share anything, to help me out with if I want to improve my listing presentation, if I want to improve my marketing. if I want to approve like standard, just kind of like email responses, or hey, what are the best text responses you're getting with dealing with text leads, with buyers and things like that. I mean, what are you really seeing? And like people just bend over backwards. It's almost like I get too much information if I ask for it, And I love that about the brokerage. Now if you're part of a team, I can really kind of consume all that stuff. And I can give it back to my team tenfold, and just take all these things. And now when you're asking me these things, I can incorporate that into my 90-day plan. That's where I think that we have a good leg up on recruiting people into the business, and recruiting is not a bad word. Like I get these things like, oh, what is it going to take to get these stupid recruiters to stop calling me? Why in every single industry out there, recruiters are welcome, except in real estate. It's because they do a great job about this brand loyalty thing, and people are so loyal to their brands.
Nobody wants to admit that they're not doing great. I think that's what it is. So when the recruiter calls and they're like, hey man, I've been kind of looking at your stuff. I would like to, pull you over here and show you what we have to offer. People are like, nope. Because my business is great here, even if they're doing one deal a month.
Yeah, I had somebody call me and say, hey, look, this person I know, this is the builder that I used to list for. And I kind of outgrew him. I just kind of like, hey, let this person that you said start doing this stuff. And he's like, dude, she's struggling. He's like, you should give her a call. It's like, because without my business, and it's minimal. He didn't pay that much, right? Yeah. And so he's like, you should really call her, and she's struggling. I called her, and I've never, I just offended her. It's like offended her, like, how dare you call and try to recruit me away from my brokerage? And this brand loyalty she had, I get it. Everybody wants it's cool to have brand loyalty. You guys have it to our brand over here, right? It's cool to have that stuff, but I would think you guys were jackwagons if you didn't take a recruiter's call to tell you how you could be doing something else and make more money, right? And so, would we suffer
I
if
take
we
those
lost
calls.
anybody at the table?
I take them all day long. I'm like, excuse me. Have you ever heard of EXP?
Yeah. It's like the guy that tried to sell me cutting boards the other day, and I was like, hey man, you're really good on the phone. Have you ever thought about making the jump over into real estate? And I turned it on him, and he's trying to get off the phone, and I won't let him off the phone. I'm doing exactly what he wouldn't let me do, is get off the phone. Yeah. And so by the end of it, he's like, I'm going to look into it. And that's all he kept saying, is like, I'm going to look into it. I'm like, that's funny. I just wanted to say, like, how much money can you make selling cutting boards? Yeah. I mean, we sell one house over here, if you sell one $500,000 home, think about that.
It's a lot of boards.
One $300,000 home would be more.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's a lot of cutting boards. Hook, line, and sinker. Marshall bought some though.
I couldn't do it.
Anyway, commission splits. Like I said, not that important. Graze over that stuff. Really, really kind of what are you giving up? If you go with the brokerage as a solo agent and you have nothing going on, what's 70% or 80% of nothing? Right? It's zero. So I wouldn't worry too much in your decision making about commission splits. Support. Ask the team leader, really ask these questions, just kind of like, do I have to do my own paperwork? Who handles my transaction after I'm done and I'm ready to pass it off? So what we do over here at Snowberger Realty Group is that we take it, my team's job, including mine, is just to sell. Right?
I think I almost forgot how to do paperwork.
Right. And so I certainly have. Like somebody came in my office this morning and said, like, you're going to need this document on all your contracts. And I'm like, okay, so remember to put it in there, So,
Melanie.
Yeah. And so, what's that look like for this team? I mean, if it's a team and you have to handle all your own paperwork and you have to handle all your own marketing and you have to handle all these things, it better be a pretty heavy, like 70-30 on they provide 70% of your leads and you only have to come to the table with 30 of them, right? So you really need to take that into account. So what do you actually have to do, or what are you actually, having to continue to do as a team member versus staying solo, right? So, and then a mentor. A good thing about a team is that I like to think over here that I like to mentor my team and have great meetings with them, one-on-ones, and just really pour into the folks and see, just kind of tell them when I think they're messing up, where they could be doing it better, where they could be doing it more efficiently, and acting in a true sense of a mentor and helping them with their business. Because if I can help my folks achieve all their goals, then I will hit all of mine, right?
Amen. Yep.
So, And then the 90-day action plan is really important for a team. Ask them if they have a 90-day action plan. If you don't have a 90-day action plan, whether you're going to stay a solo agent, you know what? I've got one. I've got one over here, and it applies to the whole business as newbies. I'll share that with you. All you have to do is really friend me up on Facebook at Dave Snowberger, or go to Hyperlocal Agents and friend up there and send me a DM. Send me a DM and I'll send you over. I'll grab your email from you. No spam involved whatsoever, but I'll send you a 90-day action plan. And then if you need to do a little consulting on it, we'll talk about that down the road. Just kind of what all these actions are on this 90-day plan. Branding. Is branding for you, or branding for the team, or branding for the brokerage? So what do you mean by that?
What are they spending their, hopefully they are marketing for themselves, but what are they putting a lot of their money to, and how does that help you? And then also, are you allowed to self-brand? Can you create like a small, aspect of your own branding to make, you more appealing to others? Obviously still having the brokerage or teams, branding on it. But some people are allowed to, and some people they have to do the brokerage branding, and they just get a picture and that's it.
Like in the beginning, can you rely on your brokerage's brand to bring in the leads until your brand gets established enough?
You can never rely on the brokerage's brand to bring you leads, in my opinion. But one thing that there is, like, you guys, you can brand yourselves, but you have to include our brand into it, right? Mm-hmm. So we're growing. The bigger SRG Austin gets, Snowberger Realty Group gets, the bigger you guys get, right?
Yep.
But I want them to know that they're doing business with you. You have Buy It with Marshall. You have,
Buy with James.
Right. And I have Sell It with Dave, and we all sit here and brand inside of it, and whatever Jason's is and whatever anybody else that's about to join our teams is that we'll help them with that, because I want everybody to self-brand, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust, right?
Yep.
And they're not necessarily going to know my brand, know who I am, or anything else. The people working with you, the 50% that you're responsible for bringing into the team agreement, right?
I say it goes two ways.
Yeah.
So, you would want me to bring in leads as well, because the team makes money on that as well.
Right.
So two ways.
Right.
Yep.
So I don't think the team makes money at all, but that's the concept. That's the concept. Tech, think about what's included. I realize if you're with, some of the bigger brokerages, that tech's typically involved these days. There are lots of people giving out CRMs, lots of people giving out cool tools, tech tools that if you use them will be very beneficial to you. What's that look like? Do they have other means? So I know that on our team that we have other means we have other stuff, right, that we do that's considered tech.
Yeah.
And it's CRMs, it's home valuation tools.
Well, EXP has a lot of cool marketing type stuff on there, and I was just blown away by that.
Yeah. And the thing that you get KV Core for about, there's a tech fee of what, 80 bucks or so over here. Yeah. And you get KV Core with that. KV Core is one of the top, websites there is, where you don't have to pay for website development anymore. You don't have to pay for all that stuff. It's all taken care of. You get it all registered under you. You can brand the hell out of it if you want. There's so many cool things with the Make It Rain campaigns, which Make It Rain is a lead campaign. So it'd be the same as, running ads.
Call captures, squeeze pages.
Call capture, squeeze pages. What else?
Landing
pages.
Social media marketing.
Social media marketing.
We'll post right to Craigslist for you, just one click.
Yeah, well, you can actually do Craigslist, Pinterest, Facebook, all those just post right out of there real quick. It's just one button stuff, boom. Yep. Everybody's listing that's an EXP. I love that everybody's there. And then if you just have an agreement with them real quick, like, hey, I'm going to advertise your listings. I'm going to give you, listing provided by courtesy of Dave Snowberger. I'll let anybody post all the homes that we list, right? Yep. And so, what is that? And then it's that's another thing right there is the fees, right? So what are the fees that typical new agents have to worry about? They really need a list of all the fees that are going into it, whether they're joining a team or joining a brokerage. You have to know all the fees, because it's not just about the commission splits. A lot of these brokerages and teams can nickel and dime you on transactions fees, on E&O fees, on
contract to close
fees,
desk fees, phone fees,
administration fees.
Yeah, desk fee. Well, it's just kind of like what's I going to say there? Anyway, just the fees. You just have to know.
Creative with it, yeah.
Yeah, they get very creative on how to nickel and dime you, and if they have 100 agents and each one of them they're getting an extra $100 in fees a month. How much is that? And so
we're on a 90-10 split, but I make $7 million off an
well,
agent.
I keep
in
hearing about
fees.
these
It's
other
like, what?
brokerages. Like I asked some guy
crazy.
the other day on one of these Facebook things, and I think I'm on Facebook entirely too much, but he was pumping some real estate company that's 100%, and I just we love that
Here we go
challenge,
again.
and I love that debate, and I was like 100%, that's awesome, just kind of like, how's that company ever going to stay into business? And he's like, oh, it's great. We've been in business for like 5 years or whatever else, and we don't seem to be having a problem. We're very profitable, everything else. And I'm like, how are you? I don't understand if you're a true 100%, right? But nobody's true 100%. There's fees, right? And so if you have 100 agents and, each one's paying $200 per transaction, I can see that broker would probably run a very slim margin line. And that might be good for them, right? And so I'm in a recruiting call the other day with somebody, and I'm talking to her, and she brought up a brokerage here in the Central Texas area that said, this is this guy's fees. And so this is what he is. And so after doing it and knowing how much she does 30 plus transactions at $200 per transaction, and then there's an E&O fee, and there's a admin fee, and there's whatever fee, those fees shot straight past what EXP would if she had the just typical split with EXP, right?
Yeah.
But not the typical split, but like if she hit icon status with EXP, she would get the $16,000 back in stock, which was her original cap. Yeah. And then basically it would boil down to where it was $5,000 for our fees. Now she's done 30 plus deals consistently for 8 to 9 years.
Yeah.
So therefore, she's going to hit those fees, right? I mean, she's going to nail everything and then get the $16,000 back. So I'm like, okay, so the cheaper brokerage that has no support whatsoever, the guy actually works a second job at a computer company. And so that's what he does. He's kind of a computer guy, and he's come up with a way to get leads and just pass them over. Your business is at 100%. When he gives you those leads, it's at 50%. So there's the kicker. Right, is that they're really good at lead generation. And if they provide KV Core, if they provide Boomtown, if they provide those type of things, that's team business. You're at 50% on any team business. And so I know some of the bigger brokerages here in Austin, Texas do that. Is that they have these splits of 50-50 right off the bat. And they're solo agents, but it's sold to them that they've got this 90-10 split or this 100% commission and everything else. Then they turn around, they get feed. Yeah. And so if you can't generate your own business, that's where this is. Now, that's where most teams have done this stuff, as I've brought this up in the past, or not in the past, but earlier in the show was, what is that team providing? If they're providing 50% of your business, and really it's more, especially when you're coming in, you're not providing that much business. They try to tell you and get you to sign on the dotted line. Yeah, they try to get you to sign on the dotted line that you're going to be responsible for 50% of your business. I haven't seen that yet.
No one does. That's the whole point of joining the team and being led to that level of production.
Right, but if we put the pressure on you to bring 50% and you bring at least 30% of your own business, that's great for the team.
Yeah.
Right? That's great for the team.
Yeah.
That helps us, that helps us with a little bit of the marketing costs and helps us with everything else with all the splits on there. So this was a good idea to talk about this stuff.
It keeps coming up a lot.
Culture. I don't see it up there, but what about culture? Yeah. Because I know this is my third market center that I've been a part of now, and each one has been a little bit different. And I think our culture here, what we do in the mornings to get ready is a lot better than some of the places we've been where it's been kind of quiet, the energy's been real low.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't, us, man, we don't do low energy around here. We come in, we have a little thing
screaming
called
down the hallway.
A rev up. Yeah. Yeah. And so do the rev up, we change our physiology. We really get in here and we kind of puff our chest out. We kind of feed our egos a little bit because we have to go in there in a minute and we have to pick up the phone. And we have to do the things that we don't want to do when we don't want to do them. Yep. And every day that's lead gen. Nobody wants to lead gen. A team's not a magic pill for you not to lead gen, by the way. Teams are, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to follow up. You're going to have to, if they hand you a lead is nothing. People need to get that through their head. A lead is nothing. Mm-hmm. A lead is somebody that has an interest in a property, possibly, maybe if I pick up the phone, if I answer one of your emails you send, or if I respond to your texts.
At some time in the future.
Some time near in the future. I might buy a house. And so
10 years from now.
You need hundreds of leads coming in a month. You need crap loads of leads coming in to make those pan out for you, right? So you need to be doing things like there's no breaks from open houses when you join a team. There's no breaks. I mean, if your team leader doesn't have you prospecting, if they don't have you working open houses or calling FSBOs or expireds or withdrawals and having real estate conversations and putting everything in perspective for you, why you should be doing those things every single day, that you don't just show up here and take a lead and expect, because when that happens and it's just like, hey, Marshall, go show this house for me, and then write the contract, right? Okay. That pays about 10% with me. Oh, yeah. So that pays about 10% with me, you know? And so there's not a lot of value there for me just to have an agent go open the door. And so if you're a showing assistant and that's what you do, and you just need to leverage yourself with a little bit of income, that's a great position for you.
Could be a good way to start.
Yeah, I guess.
At least in the beginning.
I think a better way to start is an ISA.
Yeah.
I think a better way to start is an ISA and sitting down and cramming and hammering the phones, you know? And so if you have a team, that has a model for you out there that you can sit down and start having numbers provided to you, you know, like for sale by owners or withdrawals, or you're using like Mojo Dialer or Red X or anything else out there, and you're grabbing the data of all those things and you start hammering phone calls, within 2 weeks, your career is going to look drastically different, and you're going to actually start to know what you're talking about. Because a lot of these things is like you get into it and you don't know I mean, when I had the MLS, bro, they gave it to me and I popped it open. My dad wanted to buy something, right? And so I popped it open and I just didn't know the secret handshake to get in. I'm like, how do I do these searches? But our MLS in Austin, Texas, our board was so backed up that it took them 2.5 months just to do the orientation.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, they were so backed up with licenses. And when we got in there was 100 people in this room. And you know how that goes when you stick 100 new people about real estate in a room.
Questions.
Yeah, and they tell you to ask questions, like questions. Most important.
Where do I put my name?
Yeah.
What's today's date? How do I turn the computer on?
Oh my God.
It was the craziest. It's one of the craziest things. I want to get out of there. I just wanted to know about the how do I do a search, a general search in the MLS. And I actually ended up, like I always tell you, I was trained via YouTube. So I went into YouTube. I wrote my first contract off of YouTube. I trained myself through MLS searches through YouTube. Trained myself just kind of general sales, kind of like general sales talk or whatever else was all Mike Ferry and Tom Ferry and Brian Buffini and all the greats. And so that was what I did to get this going off the ground. Was I had to do all those things. A team can help you out, and they've been through it. Yeah. They've already been through it. They've already surpassed all that stuff. They know how to do it with new agents. They have an onboarding program. They bring you in. They put you into action. They give you a 90-day plan. If you don't make it in 90 days, like with us, you don't make it in 90 days and you're not doing the things that you don't want to do when you don't want to do them, if you're not having any success, it's 100% up to you, right? It's 100% because of you, typically, if it's on our team. And that's what you should be looking for. Someone that's going to hold you accountable. Someone that's going to hold your feet to the fire and make you do those things that you don't want to do. Because everything that you want is on the other side of the things that you don't want to do.
Yep.
Right? Every single day, you got to get up and do those things. There is no easy button in this business. The easy button in this business is actually doing those things you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. And those things are what? Prospecting.
Calls.
Making phone calls.
Conversations.
Make connections.
Sending text messages. Running ads, learning how to do Facebook ads efficiently so you're not pissing away all your money. Yep. What's the difference between a Facebook ad and a boost?
A lot.
I mean, how do I do pay-per-click ads? What's the best CRM? Should I use an iPhone or Android?
Yes.
It just kind of, whatever. So anyway, hope that covers a little bit about teams right there. We're just kind of just three guys having a conversation today, and that was on the list. Today was the teams. I do want to tell everybody we are moving the podcast to Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Every Wednesday we'll be coming out with a new podcast at 8 a.m. We were 3 times a week. We are only doing this because our business is picking up to where we can't have the time commitment of knocking out 3 episodes a week and making them worth listening to, I would say. So now we're going to have 1 powerful episode a week every Wednesday. We will not let you down, right, James?
Yep.
Yeah, 8 o'clock we'll be there for you. Anyway, I want to go ahead and thank also Mike Harrell over at Guaranteed Rate. If you need Mike, it's Magic Mike over at 88000. And then if you need me for anything, just hit me up on Facebook, man. It's Dave Snowberger, and I'm with eXp Realty. Marshall?
And find me on Facebook. I want you to join my referral network. So find me, send me a message, whatever you got to do.
And lastly, smash that 5-star button and leave a great review and share it with another professional just like you. We appreciate you listening. I'm out.